Hi everyone, welcome back to Living Even Keeled. My name is Patricia and today I'm going to talk to you about how I zone clean my zone number 5, and it's my basement. I approach my basement as one entire zone. I just go down there for 1 hour, an hour and a half, or even now that it's the summertime and my kids are home all the time, I do divide this out more like a traditional type of zone cleaning where I'll do like 20 minutes a day for the week. So one principle of cleaning that I always keep is to clean top to bottom. So keep that in mind as I tell you the 5 areas that I approach. So the first area of my basement is that bathroom, and keeping top to bottom in mind, I clean it like I would any of my other bathrooms, where I put the toilet bowl cleaner in the toilet and let it sit for a minute, spray down the sink and the countertop. While that's kind of doing its thing, I'll go attack the stand-up shower. This basement does not have a tub, it just has a stand-up shower. Really, it's hardly ever used. My guests will use it if they come over, and this is like kind of where they get to stay. It's like their own little suite. But lately my husband has been using it after he works out in the garage. He'll go down there and kind of rinse off. So even though it is a basement, which sounds kind of creepy, if you're not from an area where there's typically basements, like it can be a scary word. I grew up without basements, and when I think of them, I think of creepy and bugs and like scary movies. But this really is just an extension of our home. It has carpet, recessed lighting, central air and heat is down there. We bought the home as is. We didn't do any of that stuff. But it's just a wonderful extra little square footage for the home. And living out here where our home is more narrow and tall instead of like the ranch style homes I grew up with where they were longer and like one level and wide, it's nice to have that basement in the summertime because it does get really hot here upstairs. And also like it's kind of chilly in the winter, but it's just nice too, like if there's a tornado warning, which is another creepy word if you're not from this part of the country. I know I grew up with earthquakes and those are not very scary to me, and I've been through several of them and none of them were huge. Like I was a kid when the biggest ones happened. But anyway, it's part of the home out here in Ohio. It's just like status quo. The next thing I'll do is go into the laundry area and I'll scrub out my utility sink and washer and dryer. So it's really, again, it sounds like a lot, but it's actually quite basic. I clean the utility sink like I would any other sink with vinegar and baking soda. This one tends to get a lot of paint stains because this is where I wash out my brushes when I'm done. This is also where we'll rinse out any really dirty laundry, bathing suits, stuff like that. So give it a good wipe down. I will clean the inside and the outside of the washer and dryer, and I'm not doing anything crazy. Although it is zone cleaning and it's time to get detailed, I still, I have my standards and I guess they're not that high, but I just make sure that any grime and gunk and also dust and fuzz and stuff like that, it's all removed. I will take a toothbrush to the part where you're supposed to put like the bleach only tray. That part gets really dirty even though I don't use bleach. So I'll just make sure I clean that out. I'll kind of pay attention to the basin, like the whole thing that moves. And there's like a little ledge that I can get to and make sure I clean that out. You can do a clean cycle, just do like a rinse with vinegar and baking soda. I clean my laundry with natural detergent, and so I feel like it's always fairly clean. So I haven't been doing that lately, like its own separate cleaning cycle, but you can, and they even sell specific cleaners like tabs and stuff that you can add to your laundry to just like make sure it's getting really clean. I don't know if you guys have seen this ad going around Instagram. I think it's Instagram. It's probably the only other app I use social media wise, but it's pretty disgusting. And they show adding this cleaner to your washer, and then they take the hose and they like show all the gunk coming out. It's really gross. It's actually kind of disturbing. It's a little bit of a gross ad, but I love watching it. It looks so satisfying, and I really want to get my hands on something like that just to like see the gunk coming out of the hose. Sounds really satisfying. As far as the dryer goes, I will just make sure I do a deep clean removal of the lint. So not just taking out the lint tray and cleaning that out, but I will get in there with one of these like giant pipe cleaner type things that I got from Target, and I'll just try and get out as much as I can, and then I'll go in there with my Dyson too. I have different attachments, and really try and clean that thing out as much as possible. I get nervous about fires and fire safety and all that. These washer and dryers, both of them came with the home. I don't know how old they are. They don't look very new, but they work okay. I do think we'll need to replace them at some point, but until that day comes, I'm going to treat them kindly and get every last use out of it that I can. When I'm cleaning out the lint trap from my dryer, it can make the floors really messy. But before I go onto the floors, there's another step I like to do in this zone, and that's to do the baseboards, as well as going around and getting any dust and webs from the corners, the walls, the ceiling. And so I'll do this throughout the entire basement. It's not very huge, but I'll just take either my expandable duster that I just showed with you, or even the vacuum, and I'll just vacuum up all the webs in every single corner. I'll kind of like wipe down the walls and the baseboards, especially in the laundry area where the dryer is. Like, it's very linty, but I'll just do it everywhere else too. This is sort of like my basic dusting as well. Now that I have the Swiffer out and I'm kind of like getting the webs, I'll just kind of go on down the next level and dust. I don't have very many decorations down here. It looks like a little home, I should be honest. It's not decorations, but I decorate with the kids' toys, and they don't get dusty because I use them often, but I will just make sure the shelves on the bookcase and the top of the dresser and the window ledges, those type of areas, I'll dust and make sure that, you know, if there are any dead bugs or anything, I vacuum those up too. So we've done the bathroom. We have cleaned out the utility sink and washer and dryer in the laundry area. Now we've just dusted all the webs and baseboards, so now it's time to vacuum those up. And then the fourth thing is, once everything's vacuumed, I mop the hard surface floors, which are tile floors in the bathroom and the laundry room. Again, I don't have like a typical mop and bucket type of mop. I do want one. I think it'd be really nice to have. I just use my steam mop. It works fairly good. I like it for the majority of my home. The cord is a hassle, and sometimes when things are really grimy, I feel like I just want to like get on my hands and knees and scrub anyway. So if you're in the market for one, I think there's a place for it in your home, but I still think the mop and bucket can be very useful as well. So the very last thing I do in this zone that I'm not usually doing in any of my other zones is spraying for bugs. It is a basement, and we do have Zealer come to our house quarterly, or, you know, every 6 weeks or something. But still, I just want to spray because I will always find little spiders and some weird bugs that I never saw in California growing up. And so I just get the corners, get near the sump pump, and just kind of, after I vacuumed up all the dead bugs and killed several new ones, especially now that it's spring, I feel like there's more. So just give it all a spray because it is part of our home and we use it as an actual room. You know, we go down there more often now in the heat too. So I just want to make sure it's not creepy and gross. So if you've been following along with this zone cleaning extravaganza, you know that I have 8 zones in total. This was 5, so there's only 3 left, and the last 2 are very open-ended, very flexible, very easy. You can ditch those and just get to the routine and the cycle of cleaning your home. But like I kind of have revealed here, my standards for cleanliness are not as high as you may think. And so I like putting some flexible zones. So if you're curious what those are, stay tuned. We have one more deep cleaning kind of zone before we get to them. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you have a home management goal in mind, stay tuned, subscribe. I'd love to have you join Living Even Keeled, where I share tips and tricks on how to run your home. I hope you found this video interesting, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.